and welcome to the bakingmad.com kitchen. I'm going to show you how to make hot water crust pastry. Hot water crust pastry is completely different from any other pastry in that you are boiling lard and water and you add it to the flour, and so it's a hot pastry. It's a bit like Play-Doh and you can mould it. You use hot water crust pastry for making pork pies and game pies where you can sort of raise it around a mould. And it's a very firm pastry, so it won't crack or split when you fill it with your meat filling. So I've got 500 grams of plain flour in a bowl, and I'm just going to add 2 teaspoonfuls of salt. And then I've got 175 grams of lard, which I'm going to melt in 250 mils of water. I'm just going to bring that up to the boiling point. Right, the lard and water have boiled and the lard's melted, and you just pour it straight into the flour and give it a good mix. It's important that the water's hot because what you're doing is bursting the starch grain in the flour, so you're kind of cooking out the pastry. And then as it gets a little bit cooler, then you can get your hands in and bring it together. And it feels like Play-Doh, but you want to get all of the starch grains. It is quite hot, so you need to just do a little bit at a time and let your hands cool, and then we can tip it out. You want to make sure that all of that flour is worked in, but don't over knead it or it'll become greasy. So that is basically your hot crust pastry, and you need to work with it while it's hot because once it gets cold it will crack. So you can leave it to cool a little bit, or you can start rolling it out straight away. So for pork pies, traditionally they have a pork pie mould, a wooden mould, but you can use a jam jar, and what you do is you work the pastry up your mould and then leave it to cool a little bit before you take the mould out. Now you can use this if you're making like a big raised game pie. You can mould it inside something like an 8-inch cake tin. You can press it in there, keeping a bit back for your lid, and then fill it with game, rabbit, chicken, bacon, bit of stuffing layered up, or the traditional pork pie. But you can't roll it out and make tarts or anything like that with it. It really is for these moulded pork pies. So I say let that cool a little bit and then take your mould out, and then you can fill it. Don't forget to look on the bakingmad.com website for the recipe.